Today, we're going to tackle one of cooking's greatest challenges. We're going to take that hit-or-miss experience of making pizza at home and turn it into a rock-solid, repeatable process. The goal? To help you go from amateur to artisan by treating pizza not as a recipe, but as a science you can master. Come on, you've been there, right? We've all been there. You follow a recipe, you get your hopes up, and what comes out of the oven is, well, it's okay. But it's not that pizza. It's not the one you get from a real pizzeria. It's too crunchy, or a little doughy, or just a letdown. That's the exact problem we're here to solve, and the trick is to stop thinking like a home cook and start thinking like a process manager. And this quote right here, this is our guiding principle. We're going to totally demystify pizza. It's not some kind of secret art form, it's just a system of variables, chemistry, timing, temperature that you can actually manage. And once you understand that system, you control the outcome. It's that simple. And the whole thing kicks off with the single most important component.
Look, in any professional operation, you start with your primary ingredient. That one thing dictates your entire schedule, your entire workflow. You don't just grab any bag of flour off the shelf. You choose a flour based on the time you have and the results you want. Seriously, the flour is your blueprint. It tells you exactly what to do and when.
Okay, so let's get into the specs. You see that Forza or W number? Think of that as the flour's instruction manual. A number like 220 to 240 tells you this is a medium-strength flour. It's specifically engineered for a same-day 8 to 12-hour process. All those 3-day cold ferment recipes you see online, this flour isn't built for that. Using it that way is like trying to hammer a nail with a screwdriver. Wrong tool for the job. And then there's this P/L ratio. This is all about the dough's elasticity, basically how it feels when you work with it. A balanced ratio like this means you've hit the sweet spot. The dough is going to be super easy to stretch, it won't fight you and snap back, but it also won't be a sticky, goopy mess. It's literally engineered to be perfect for shaping that classic Neapolitan pizza.
So, now that we have our blueprint, the flour, we can actually build our production schedule. See, we're not just following a list of ingredients anymore. We're launching a structured, timed process, a 9-hour mission, from start to finish.
In a factory, you'd have what's called a bill of materials. We're going to treat our recipe with that same level of precision. It's a formula. And notice the technical notes here. We're using cold water to keep the dough from getting too warm while we're mixing it. And the olive oil? Not exactly traditional, I know, but for a home oven, it's our secret weapon, our ally for keeping the final pizza soft. And here it is, the whole game plan laid out. We kick things off with mixing, the impastamento. Then it's a 2-hour bulk rise called the puntata, a quick 15-minute staglio to portion out the dough balls. And then they go into their final 6-hour rise, the apretto. That brings us right to the 9-hour mark, perfectly on schedule and ready to cook. Every single stage has a purpose. Now, let's dive into that mixing phase, because the order of operations here is absolutely crucial. You dissolve the yeast, add half the flour, then the salts, then the rest of the flour. But listen up, because step 5 is the big one. The oil goes in last, no exceptions. Think about it, oil repels water. If you add it too early, it coats the flour and you'll never get proper hydration. By adding it at the very end, it incorporates beautifully without messing up the dough's structure. All right, once the dough is mixed, it's time for it to rest and develop. First up is the puntata, that 2-hour bulk rest. This is where the gluten relaxes and the flavor really starts to build. Next, the staglio. We're portioning out the dough with precision to make sure every single pizza is consistent. And finally, the apretto, where the individual dough balls get their 6-hour final rise, getting all light and airy, ready for the oven. Okay, so you've done everything right. You've managed the process perfectly. Your dough looks incredible. But now we hit the single biggest wall for every home pizza maker. The oven. But let's not see it as a limitation. Let's see it as an engineering challenge that has a really clever solution. I mean, just look at the difference here. It is night and day. A professional pizzeria oven is cranking at almost 500 degrees Celsius. It cooks a pizza in 90 seconds. Your home oven, it maxes out around 250. So if you just chuck your pizza in there for 15 minutes, you don't get pizza, you get what the source calls a biscotto secco, a dry biscuit. And nobody wants that. So, what's the secret? What are we actually trying to do? The goal is to replicate something called thermal shock.
We need to hit that pizza with an intense, overwhelming blast of heat from the top and the bottom, all at the same time. But how on earth do we do that without a 500-degree professional oven?
And here is the hack. The brilliant yet simple solution, the pan and grill method. You create that thermal shock in 2 stages. First, you get a pan scorching hot on your stovetop. That's going to cook the bottom in about a minute or 2, giving you that beautiful leopard spotting. While that's happening, you quickly throw on your toppings. Then, you immediately slide that entire pan under your preheated grill to blast the top and finish the cook. It is a fantastic, low-cost solution.
So when you step back and look at all this, what's the big takeaway? This was never really just about a recipe, was it? It's about a fundamental shift in how you think. It's about moving from just blindly following steps to actually understanding and managing a process from start to finish. So let's run through those key ideas one more time. First, amazing pizza isn't magic, it's a managed process. Second, your main ingredient, the flour, is your guide. Its specs literally tell you the timeline to follow. Third, being precise with your bill of materials is what gives you consistent results every single time. And finally, you don't need fancy gear. You can overcome your equipment's limits with a little clever problem solving.
And that kind of leads us with one last thought to chew on. We just took the so-called magic of Neapolitan pizza and broke it down into a system that anyone can understand and repeat. So it makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other magic in your life, whether it's at work or in a hobby, is really just a system that's waiting for you to learn it?